Hi guys, so it's 3:35. So I think I'm gonna start now. I think I have a good amount of people. So I'm gonna start now. Everybody can hear me? Just raise your hand or you can raise your hand on this.
Yes, I'm here.
Type yes if you can hear me. Okay, somebody can hear me. Everybody can hear me? Okay, great. Okay, guys, welcome to another meeting of Young Investors Club. Before I do anything, I just want to say Happy Breast Cancer Awareness Month. See, I wear my pink. So this month we stand in solidarity with breast cancer survivors and people who are suffering with breast cancer. And October is also Stocks Month, so happy Stocks Month. Before we start today, we're gonna do a little icebreaker. So let me share my screen. Okay, so this is the icebreaker today. After this, I'm gonna share a whiteboard so you guys can draw. But the challenge is that you guys have to draw this image without taking your pen from the screen or taking your finger from the screen or your mouse. You cannot cross over a line that you already drew, and you can't retrace a line. So I'm going to share a whiteboard, draw that, and then you guys can draw whatever. Everybody get that? I like interaction, so I can't daddy. Everybody get that?
Yeah.
Okay, so gonna share a whiteboard now, and then you guys can try. You guys see the whiteboard?
Yes.
Cool. So somebody try and draw the image. So hold on. Nobody not try. I not like this. No, sir.
I joined late. What am I supposed to do?
All right. So let's go back again. So this is the image, right? If you read, it says to get your pencil and your brains busy. Here's a good puzzle for both of them. See if you can draw the figure shown on the opposite page without taking your pencil. We're not using a pencil, but you can't take your instrument off the paper. You can't cross a line and you cannot retrace a line. And it's not a trick. You can actually draw it without lifting up your hand or retracing anything. So you have to draw this image with the line and the circle and everything without retracing or anything like that. So I'm going to share the whiteboard again, and then somebody try it. Okay, somebody's trying.
Yeah, but I don't fail already.
No, you don't fail it. Or you give up already.
Wait.
Who do that? That look like a retrace, That look like a retrace. Who did the one in red?
I just tried a while ago.
And you did it without retracing or anything like that?
I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure what I did. I just tried something.
All right, so that was nice that you guys tried. Thank you for participating. So now we're gonna just get into the meat of the matter. Let me stop sharing my screen. So we're gonna get into the meat of the matter. So now I'm going to turn over to Chris, our president, and he's going to do a little bit of housekeeping. He's gonna talk about the stocks competition, the business competition, or CFA competition, and our end of month challenge. So Chris.
I'm here talking. I'm just here talking. Like, all right, good afternoon, guys. Welcome to the first day of October. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and as Tammy had mentioned, I have is it four things that we need to discuss before we really get into the meat of the matter. And you can stop me along the way and ask me any question that you want. Firstly, and most importantly, is the CFA competition. So the CFA competition is a global competition where you form teams in groups of 3 to 5, and pretty much you go on different levels and analyze a given business. So the first level is locally here in Jamaica. You're competing among other teams locally, other tertiary teams, and then you go to the Caribbean, and then Latin America, and then America, and then globally. For the team last year, they went as far as Miami in the Latin America segment of the competition, and they came second out of that. That I think that was headed by the previous president, Demar McCoy. And what the competition really is about is that you're randomly assigned a business for you to evaluate holistically, meaning in the financial and economic sense, like both macroeconomics and microeconomics of the business, um, like SWOT analysis, all of that. So if you are a first year or second year or even a third year who knows a little bit about that, or you're very much interested in wanting to learn about how to do that, please join that. You can find that application in the bio of our, I'll send it in all the groups, but you can find it in the bio of our Instagram. So that's the first thing, the CFA competition. Are there any questions at all you'd like to ask me about for that? No? Okay, I'll go on. So the next competition that we have, it's an internal competition. It's our business competition. These are for persons who only have ideas. Like if you want to develop your idea, or if you already have an idea and it's in its developing stages, or if you already have a business and you want to take it to the next level, that competition is for you. It's not really so much of a competition, but more of a challenge, and you are compensated for for your development for every 2 weeks. Now, applications were open last week, and they're going to be open up until the 7th or 8th, which is next week, Thursday. And then after that, all of the competitors will be introduced, and then we'll actually get into that. Like there will be a private group for those persons to track their progress and assign points based on how far they're going, of how far they've been in the past 2 weeks. So for every 2 weeks, the winner who has developed their idea or startup or business the most will receive a prize. That will end in April. First day of April, that will end. Are there any questions for that? The application for that is also in our bio or IG bio. And I think I already put it in the group, but I will be putting it in the group again, as well as the IG feed. Any questions about that? Guys, y'all have any questions? Nope. No questions? Nope. None at all? All right, no questions. The third thing now is our internal stocks competition. Now, we were going to use the platform Wall Street Warriors, but they're actually closing down. But you can actually go there and learn. Like they have a whole lot of information for you to learn. Like it's in small packages, small bursts. Like I completed it in a week. The courses that they have, the free courses that they have. But now they're closing down their website and they're moving to this new website. It's called virtualstockexchange.com. And what does is that it allows for us to create competitions for you guys. So we'll be creating a competition. Well, it's created, it's just to really launch now. And today is the launch day for it. So after this meeting, you'll be sent emails on how to actually get into that competition. And it's not really a competition per se, but there will who are doing their best. Like for the best, every 2 weeks there'll be a prize given to that person. What else is there about it? The same way that Wall Street Warrior has courses, there are courses on there as well, and you have access to US the US Stock Exchange. You have access to the Toronto Stock Exchange, as well as cryptocurrency. You can also invest in cryptocurrency for the duration of the competition. Now, this competition will also last from today up until April 1st. We were going to have a grand prize, but we're actually saving that for another competition. And you'll get more detail on that competition when the time comes. Are there any questions for that one? Is everybody a part of either the 3 groups or the Telegram? Or do you get emails from us? If you don't get emails from us, ensure that you either put in the chat. Oh wait, people talking in the chat. Oh no, that's not for me. So if you don't, what am I saying? If you don't get emails from us, ensure that you place your email in the chat. No, or actually will be not a part of the Telegram. You only need to be a part of one group. It's because there's so many of you guys. Oh, you got an email. Once you got an email, you're a part of our email list, and you'll be able to get the thing. What's the thing? The other emails. So Dario, are you a part of it? Leo, you're not. You're doing it. Okay, so what I'm gonna ask Tommy to do is send inside this chat right now the form to sign up to our mailing list. Tommy, you can do that for me, please? Can you find it?
Sure, I'll do that in a second.
All right, thanks. Do you guys have any questions as it regards to the stock competition? How many of you are complete beginners? No, not each week. Chad, you should check your email because it was sent out this morning. Check spam or check promotions. Emails, they're only sent when absolutely necessary. So the welcome email you'll receive, as well as the the competition, how to access the competitions. So Jamila, you're a complete beginner. What I would recommend is that once you get access to the virtual stock exchange game, you do their courses, and yeah, lovely. Yeah, so you do their courses and then you practice because you'll be able to have your own position. So actually, I can share my screen right now. Let me see. Oh, can you, Tammy, can you give me host for a while?
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. Where am I? All right, lovely. So ignore my multiple business, ignore my billion tabs, but as you can see, this is the club's account on the virtual stock exchange, um, and here we have the club the club competition, and there's also a practice competition. Yeah, practice competition. Ensure that your currency is USD. The other option they have, I think, is Canadian, but ensure USD that is their base currency. You'll be given $100,000 in virtual cash to play around with, and pretty much pretty much just go around and find out how to use it. Like it's not hard. It's not hard to do. You can find all of the courses there and you work on your own time. You have every 2 weeks to be a winner. Phillip, here. Okay, so you can take back post now, Tammy. The final thing is that, oh, you should please pay attention to the next 4 weeks, including this one. So next 2 weeks of content, because at the end of this month, we'll be having a games day, and the games will be all around on what you've learned in the past 3 weeks. So ensure you pay attention, take notes, and have fun. Ask questions. Ask questions. If you're a complete beginner, if you're a complete beginner, ask questions. You can get into any of the admins DMs and ask us anything. If we ourselves don't know, we can find the information for you. And also, if you're a complete beginner and you don't have access to our resources like our brokerage list and so forth, just fill out the form and you'll get the email that has the club manual, and in that manual you'll be able to have access to our private drives, and there you'll find free resources. The other thing would be our Patreon. We have resources on our Patreon that are exclusive to persons who are dedicated members. To be a member, to be inducted in, I think, April, you must be a Patreon subscriber. So you'll find that in not in the email itself, but in the club manual, that will be in the welcome email. So make sure you start that. Make sure you start that. Make sure you bookmark that club manual, and we actually, oh, he's not here. So we actually update all of those stuff like every week, every 2 weeks. So ensure that you're always like checking that out. And I think that is it. Tammy, can we do anything else while we wait on our presenter?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we should just ask people what they know about stocks or ask who currently trades on the stock market, etc. while we wait on him.
Okay. Yeah. So who trades or who invests? Who's already investing? No one. Guys, speak up. Let's start calling names. Hi, Brianna Haywood. Oh, I'm saying who invests? Who's already investing? Hi, Brianna. Are you investing? Okay, we're not getting any response from Brianna.
The question was, Leo, if anybody invests currently in the stock market or what do you know about the stock market?
Why you feel like you're out of your league? Jada, come talk. Unmute your mic and come talk. Why you feel like you're out of your league?
You look like, who is that? E1, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Says that they currently invest. Is that why you raise your hand?
What?
Okay, so why don't come tell us about it? How is it going so far? How long have you been doing it? Tell us about your experience.
Okay, all right, Brianna.
I guess I can share a little about my experience day trading on the Jamaica Stock Exchange trader platform.
Okay, Ashley.
Your girl been getting some losses like every day.
Bye.
um,
Sure, so what has it been like? How long have you been doing it? Hello?
Ashley. Okay. All right. So let's see what I can do. I'm gonna go through. Where is this? Can't find it. All right. So I'm gonna share my screen again. There we go. All right. So sharing my screen again. This this um website is called Wall Street Survival. It will be done by the end of the year. So ensure that you get your, I wouldn't say money's worth because you're not going to be paying anything. So Wall Street Survival is what we were going to use, what we were going to use, what we were going to use to launch or host the game. And what it really does is that it teaches you while you're able to practice. So there are many courses, many free courses, as well as paid courses on it. It took me about a week to finish these courses, and it goes all the way out into macroeconomy, way into the microeconomy, and how to actually go about choosing. It teaches you how to analyze. It teaches you how to it teaches you also like read important financial statements, like your income sheet, your balance sheet, and your cash statements. So these are all 3 courses. I'm gonna copy my charts. That is, so those are courses that you can use to learn for persons who have no idea where to begin. They just start. What banks are good to get an account with? Jada. So as I said, once you sign up in our form, you'll get an email that has our club manual, and in that club manual, you'll have had access to resources. One of those resources shows you a list or like a table of brokers, not banks, brokers to start with. So we give you options, and then you do your own research into which one is right for you. All right. So why haven't you read, guys? Ensure that you get the email and ensure that you read the email. Get in the Telegram if you haven't already, because most likely you'll be focused on the Telegram, and get the resources, because there's a lot of resources, and I said we're always updating it. We're always updating it, and then the Patreon as well. For persons who have poor internet problems like myself, I don't know how many people already, you can get the recording on our YouTube channel, and you can find that why is that You Young Investors Club. So I think our presenter is actually here now. So I'll get back to you, Tame. Are you here, Tame?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, guys. So this week, well, this month, as you know, is stocks month. So our guest speaker for this week will be introducing us to stocks. And he is from Vmwealth. He's a skilled wealth advisor who is proficient in developing effective financial plans to meet the financial objectives of his clients. He has a Bachelor of Science degree in Finance and Banking from the University of Technology, and he is certified in Securities and Portfolio Management. Please help me welcome Phillip Broderick from VMWealth, our guest speaker for today.
Thank you, Tammy. Appreciate the introduction. Lovely. I should be able to share my screen, right? Okay, I found one. Sorry.
Hold on, I'm going to give you the privilege now.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so you can go ahead.
All right. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
All right, great. So good afternoon, everyone. As Tammy said, my name is Philip, and I'm from VMWealth, a wealth officer from VMWealth. And what I do is I assist clients with developing an investment portfolio. I offer them information and advice in terms of securities that they can invest in, and if it is, I can also help them to get access to these securities. So today I will be speaking about just a little introductory presentation to stocks to kind of inform you guys about stocks, how it works, and why you should buy stocks or hold stocks within your portfolio. So first thing we'll look at, what is a stock? A stock represents an ownership interest in a company. The value of the stock rises when the company performs well. So once you own a stock, it pretty much means you have a voice in that company. The well-being of the company is also should be a part of your concern, sustainability, etc. And two other words you might see, which is equity or share, and it all speaks to the same thing. Why are stocks issued? Stocks provide a source of funding for companies. If it is that they need additional capital to facilitate the purchase of a new facility, or maybe they have a new product line they want to develop, maybe they want to expand, or for whatever reason it is, a company can raise funds through issuing stocks in their company. And they might be thinking, why is it that I would want to give up a portion of my company just for the purpose of funds? Why would I not go to a bank? Well, here's the thing. If you go to a bank or a lending institution to get funds, you have an obligation to pay back those funds, plus interest. So you go to a bank, they will do up a contract for you, and they will let you know the interest rate that you have to pay them back at, as well as the period in which you have to pay them. And if it is that you don't keep this obligation, you miss a payment or a couple of payments, then you know the borrowing company has some lien on some assets or whatever assets it is that you have in order to reclaim funds that you have borrowed. So when a company issues stocks to shareholders or to other prospecting shareholders, it doesn't have that obligation. You buy a share from a company, you are now a part of the company. The well-being of the company is now your well-being. You share in the profits of the company. Whatever decisions the company makes, you are now a part of that decision. So if it is that you want to offload these shares, you cannot sell it back to the company unless the company wants to buy it from you. And this is where the Jamaica Stock Exchange comes into play. So it is a secondary market for investors who hold stocks, are able to trade these stocks to other investors who would like to purchase these shares. This is just the only thing I really don't like about virtual presentation. They can't really gauge to see if persons are understanding what you're saying, but at the end I'll have a Q&A, and hopefully if it is that you have questions, I'll be here to answer them just to see. Oh. Right, so what does it mean when you purchase a stock? As I said before, it represents ownership in the company. Shareholders can help to determine the policy direction of the organization. When annual general meetings are held, there are usually issues that are brought up during the general meeting. And whether you own one stock or 1 million stock, you have a voice. You can vote on these different matters, and the matters are taken into consideration by the board or by the individual parties that need to, in order to make a decision for the company. Sharing the profits of the company by way of dividends. So the company does good, it decides to offload a portion of its profits to its shareholders. It is called dividends. You receive that if you own a stock, and you ever realize that you receive that little check with some few dollars on it, depending on the amount you invest, that's your dividend payment check. And the bonuses as well. So this is not a familiar method, but it does happen whether it's our market or other market where there are bonus shares that are issued for shareholders that hold the companies, or if it is that the company wants to provide the shareholder with a little extra return, but doesn't want to pass off its profit, wants to retain it, then it can give additional shares. So how do investors profit from holding a stock? There are two ways. You have capital appreciation, and you have by way of dividends. Capital appreciation refers to gains that you get from when you buy and sell a stock. So you buy a stock at one price, you sell it at another. For example, you go to the stock exchange and you buy VMWealth stock for $5. And then 1 month later, you sell it for $10. That $5 difference, that would be a profit. And that would be your capital appreciation. And even if you weren't to sell the stock, you were just to hold onto it and allow the value to increase, then it would have still be a capital appreciation of the value of your investment. Somebody was saying something? No? All right. Right, so that's how you come up with capital gain. Now the opposite is also possible. You buy a stock for one price and you sell it for a lower price based on the movement of the stock or based on how bad you wanted to get some liquidity. You might have been willing to sell the stock for a lower price and to accept a capital loss. So it works both ways. A dividend now is a distribution of the portion of the company's earnings. So a company makes $1 million in profit this quarter, and then it says, okay, I'll share maybe 20% of this $1 million, 200,000, break it up into them based on the amount of shares that we have and distribute them. And then that's how you end up getting that little check with a few dollars on it as your dividend check. So those are the two ways that you can earn from owning a stock, whether capital appreciation, which is a movement in the price of the stock, or through dividends that the companies or the different shares, the different companies that they issue. Advantages and disadvantages of buying stocks now or trading stocks. So we'll look at the advantages first. It grows with the economy. So when the economy grows, you're going to realize that there are job creation. More persons have access to money. The purchasing power of individuals increase. And that will trickle down into individuals being able to purchase more from companies than they would normally do. If a company has increased business, then it means there's going to be increased profitability of that business. And what works hand in hand with the increased profitability of the company, their share price. So as long as the company continues to do well, continues to earn profits each quarter or annually, then you'll realize that the stock price will continue to increase. So as the economy grows, so does the company grows and the stock price will grow. Stocks tend to stay ahead of inflation as well. What this means is that when the price of goods and services continue to inflate or continue to increase for whatever reason it is, then you'd realize that stock prices tend to follow suit or even outperform the rate of inflation. And the reason why this happens is that when raw materials become more expensive, the companies aren't going to absorb the additional costs. They're going to pass it off to their consumers. So they once could buy a pallet for $10, but now because of inflation, the pallet now costs $12. They're not going to accept that $2 loss. They're going to pass off the costs to the consumers and increase, maybe, for example, increase the price by $2 just to ensure that they are staying ahead of the inflation. And most companies, they do that, if not all. Maybe even put on additional amount. The raw material came up to more additional $2, they add on $4. Sometimes them just, as people would call it, them teeth. So the stocks tend to stay ahead of inflation. Another advantage as well is that stocks are easy to buy and sell. You go to the stock exchange, you want to buy a stock, you put in your order, you get the stock. You have the stock, you want to get rid of it, you go to the stock exchange, you sell it, you get rid of the stock. And that's how easy the transaction is. All you have to do is just have an account with a broker. There's even now a trading platform that Persons can sign up for, once you have an account with a broker, sign up for the online platform if it is that they facilitate this platform, and you can trade on your laptop at home. You see a stock you want, you see the prices that they're being offered for, you put in an order, you purchase the stock, and the opposite is the same. Now the disadvantages with buying a stock is that it comes with a level of risk. Stocks are considered highly aggressive, and it's because of their volatility. The prices fluctuate pretty much for any and all reasons. As little as the weather can affect a stock price depending on what stock it is. If I have a company that sells agricultural products and there's a period of drought, then there'll be no crop for them to reap, there's no product for them to use or to sell, hence there's going to be a decline in the profitability of the company. Another example is what is happening now with COVID-19. The stock market took a major hit because of it, and some of the main variables why the stock market took a hit is because speculation or perception of what is going to happen. So even before we got a good hit or before we got any real numbers about the coronavirus, there were already stocks that were starting to take a plunge. And the persons were seeking, investors were really just seeking liquidity. There was uncertainty about what is going to happen. There are investors who they speculate that because of COVID, because of what the effects that it have on other countries, and it is now being introduced to Jamaica, they are speculating that the results will be the same, a decline in business activity, a decline in productivity. Hence, they see the better option to sell these shares. And when you have majority of investors selling a stock or selling stocks in general, it is going to put the stock market into a downfall. A hefty downfall, a sharp downfall, so to speak. So it comes with risk. As well as with the volatility of stocks, it also allows you great opportunity to earning above average returns just as well. But it's just because there's a risk aspect of it, you have persons who they're not comfortable with the risk. It takes time to research. You can't just get up and say you're going to buy a stock. You need to know what this company is. Who are they? What are they doing? Who are their customers? Why do their customers buy the product? If it is that the company is making good profits year after year, month after month, is it that it is a company that it only sells based on certain cycle or certain seasons? Then you might want to take the time to research them. You look at their numbers, their balance sheets, the income statement, to look at the management team, a lot of things that you have to look at when you're selecting a stock to buy. So it's not just looking at the stock market, seeing that a stock is there and then purchase it, because you might end up with the shorter end of the stick, as they call it. The emotional ups and downs. Trust me, if you are an investor and you buy into stocks, you know the pain I'm talking about with stocks. You buy a stock today and you have high hopes for the stock, you've heard such great things about the stock, you realize that tomorrow the stock price goes up to $10, you're feeling good, you sleep with a smile on your face and everything is all dreamy. And then the next day you wake up and realize that that stock that bought at $8 went to $10 is now down to $6. No, you can't feel your legs. No, you can't sleep at night. Your head starts hurt you. So there's just this roller coaster of emotions when it comes on to stocks. So stocks do require you to have some sort of patience. You have to know your calculated risk and what it is that you're getting into when you're buying into stocks. As long as you can accept that stocks are highly volatile and they are aggressive, you should be fine. But of course, you have persons who, even though they know the risk attached, just the fact that the price went down is going to create some upset, some diarrhea, and all these things. So what to look for when purchasing shares? You have to look for a lot of things, and I'll just name a few. Company management. You look at the management team. If they are capable of ensuring that the company is doing well. You look at how long they've been in the business. You look at the business itself, how long they have been around. Look at their policies. You look at their quality of products. You look at a lot of different things when you want to purchase a stock, which has to do with the staff or the management of the company. You look at market leaders as well. So you want to buy a manufacturing company, and you look at the leaders of the market. You say, okay, Separate is one of those companies that I know and everybody loves. And you see another company that is not so big as Separate. The name is not so big as Separate, but you realize that based on the capital that they have, maybe their capital base is almost as large as Separate, who you know is a market leader, and maybe they have the potential for growth and all that. So you look at the different companies, you look at what their capital base is, you look at what they're earning, the price of their stock, and then you can compare it to different stocks within that industry to kind of gauge whether or not you want this stock in a portfolio or you think this stock is a good buy. And look at the profitability of the company as well. If the profits are continuous and can it be sustained. If it is just a period in which they had some good sales and maybe they are not able to carry out or continue this type of profitability because of the type of raw materials that they use. Look at the profit trend. Is the company likely to continue on that profit path? Look at the dividend payout as well. If it's a company that pays out dividends or it retains its earnings for future expansion. Maybe it is that you want an income portion to your portfolio, that you want stocks that are able to give you some frequent checks. Maybe you are not interested in the income portion and you just want your capital to appreciate. Then you look at these things. You look at, does the company pay dividends? How often does it pay dividends? How much of the profits are paid out to shareholders? What is the dividend yield? You look at the capital base, and this represents the amount of money the company owns. It also involves looking at the liability of the company, look at their obligations, look at where their funding came from, look at the use of this or the future use for the capital that they have, the cash that they have on hand, etc. Look at the ownership as well. Is the decision making transparent? As a percentage that is owned by employees or by the management, this can kind of tell you if it is that the staff members, if their objectives are aligned with what the company wants. So for different types of stocks, they have different purposes that they have within your portfolio. And this is just a few of them. You have growth stocks, income stocks, blue chip stocks, tech stocks, and defensive stocks. And you might have heard of a few of these before. The most common one would be blue chip stocks, which refers to companies that have a strong financial background. They have a strong branding. They have been doing good business for years to come, and their history of the company is so strong that you pretty much don't have a lot of speculation about this stock. You want a stock within your portfolio that is able to appreciate your portfolio, or it's a bit steady in terms of the return, not as volatile as the others, then you'll have blue chip stocks. Another type as well is defensive stocks, which is kind of similar to blue chip. So these are stocks that are not so volatile to the movements of the market. Not every little thing that happens in the market are going to cause these stocks to move in price. Tech stocks. This type of stock refers to companies that are highly into innovation, into creating new technology. And the reason why they have a category by themselves is because technology stocks, they are highly volatile. What technology is pertinent or useful today may not be tomorrow. The technology market is always evolving, and it evolves at a fast pace. So fast that you can have a technology stock today that the stock price is just continuously on an upward trend. And then tomorrow, another company comes out with a better version of that technology, and consumers switch from that company to the other company. And if that company is not able to sustain or to retain at least some of those companies, you can realize that that tech company will have a sharp decline. So just as fast as it went up, it can decline. But they do offer very, very high rates of return, technology stocks. Similar, you have growth stocks. Growth stocks refers to companies that are in the earlier stages or the earlier cycle of their life. So where they have a lot of room for growth, a lot of room for the share price to increase, a lot of room for expansion of products, etc., then you consider these growth stocks. Growth stocks are aggressive, they have a lot of volatility, and they tend to have some speculation surrounding growth stocks. Income stocks refers to companies that pay dividends regularly. So for example, maybe Supreme Ventures or Carrera, these are companies that pay out regular dividends. These are considered income stocks. So if you want a portion of your portfolio that are able to give you those checks, you look for these type of stocks. IPO. So I know most of you would have heard about IPO, and what it means is that initial public offering. So a company that is not on the stock exchange, they want to now be listed. And just like the start of my presentation, it said there are various reasons why companies want to seek funding by selling a portion of their company. So within the IPO process, the company is pretty much offering a portion of its company to the public to purchase so that they can receive funding or capital for whatever it is that they want. And this is usually done in a manner where they're not selling all of their company or majority. It's usually less than 51% that they issue to the public. And if they do issue more than 51%, they normally have it issued to like maybe a parent company or a holding company, somebody who has their objective or their interest at heart. So some of the information that a prospectus comes out with, which is when a company is offering an IPO, it looks at its financials. Because the company was once private, it is now making the public aware of its financials, its balance sheet, its income statement, its management team, etc. It looks at the profitability of the company. It will show the history, the products and services that this company offers as well. It looks at the business plan. It looks at what it is that the company wants to do with the additional fund that they're raising. It gives the profile on the directors and senior managers. It also gives the share ownership, which is all the persons or the institutions who have an interest in the business, as well as a dividend policy, if it is that it plans to pay dividends or it doesn't. And if it does plan to pay dividends, it gives maybe a breakdown of the percentage of the profits that it would pay, etc. IPOs are the major ways that you tend to find new investors coming to the stock market, because there's usually this huge uproar about IPOs. And the major selling point with IPO is the general assumption that when an IPO comes out, it's going to come out at the lowest possible price, and there's only one way for it to go, and it's to increase, which in reality, it isn't true. So although in most cases, you realize the company comes out at one price, and then it increases thereafter. There are companies that comes up with IPOs, and the reverse is what happens to their stock price. So it is a good starting point for if it is that you want to develop a portfolio or you just want to take advantage of the returns that IPOs can offer, because IPOs in recent times, they have been offering up to like maybe 300% return just in the span of a month or a few weeks of that company being listed on the market. And it all comes down to demand and supply. The IPO process, it tries to be as fair as possible. So when you have all the investors who apply for the amount of shares that they want, the party who is issuing the share, or the company, the investment house that is putting on the IPO for the company, will go through the application, sort it, and then allow everybody to get a piece, or as much as possible allow everybody to get a piece. And if that happens, there are going to be some persons who didn't get all of what they want. So if these persons or these companies want more shares, they're going to have to go to the secondary market, which is the Jamaica Stock Exchange, where the stock is listed. And if they want it more than the customers are willing, or the investors who have it are willing to sell, then you realize that it will drive the price of the IPO upward, or the stock upward. And this is how persons or these stocks are able to turn over such hefty returns after about a month or a couple of weeks of being on the market. So, in a nutshell, what to expect when you own a stock. So dividend payments from these profits, it is usually taxed at 15%. There's capital gains that you can get from buying shares as well. Bonus shares, which is the issuing of additional shares for instead of monetary payment. And then you have stock splits. And stock splits refers to a company splitting maybe one share into two parts, etc. So if you own 1,000 stocks, now you own 2,000 because you did a 2-to-1 stock split, etc. Stock prices tend to fall when you do a stock split, but one of the major reasons why companies do stock split is because when they realize that their stock is becoming not as liquid as possible and investors would like to buy their shares but it's too expensive, they do a stock split. That's one of the reasons, not all of it, but one of the reasons why they can do a stock split, to reduce the price and then allow the stocks to be traded as liquid as possible, or as much as it did before. So, with Victoria Mutual Wealth Management being a broker, we offer the service or services that you can use to get a stock brokerage account, get a JCSD number, which is the Jamaica Central Securities Depository number, that you can use to buy and sell shares. Once you have an account with us, you can buy and sell shares either by having us do it for you, or you can do it yourself, develop your own portfolio, even use the online platform to purchase shares. Having an account with us, you get prompt execution of orders. There's low cost trading, a minimum of $300. I believe we need to amend that amount. But until we have finalized some things, for now, it is a low cost trading of about $300. There's personal service and follow through. And what this means is that once you have an account with us, you will be assigned to a wealth advisor, wealth officer, or somebody who is able to assist you in your investment decisions, or in your developing your portfolio, sorry. So give them a call, give me a call. Hey, I'm thinking of buying this stock. What you think? Can I give them a view? Or if it is that you want some options for stock to add to your portfolio, take a look at your portfolio and see, all right, based on your objective, these are my recommendations, etc. So you get that personal service. We're talking one-on-one with an advisor. We give clear and accurate contract statements. We give same-day trade notification options in communications. So a side note to this part, we recently didn't have this option available because based on the system that we had to turn it off because we had some security things that we need to tighten up before we have it in full use. So I believe about a month ago, it has been switched back on, which means once you make a trade, you should get in a notification that the trade has been executed, etc. You get access to research and daily trade summary information. So you have an account with us, we will have your email address. And we send out daily emails that speaks to what happened in the stock market. It speaks to if there are things, there are specific things to note in that communication, we'll put it there, put a summary of what happened. And we don't just stick to the stock market. We also give an update on what happened in the bond market, what happened in the foreign exchange market as well. So you have an account with us, you get pretty much daily information that can assist you in not just getting information for the purpose of making your portfolio, but for personal information. Maybe it is that it is a field of work that you want to get into, maybe something that you're interested in, you want to keep up to date on investment news, then that is a way how you can keep up to date as well. With our emails, we provide recommendations as well. So our research team, they do a research on different companies, most like around 5 of them each week. And then they will put together a little document that holds their findings, and it would tell you whether or not they think this company is a good buy or it's not. And they would give the rationale behind why it is that they say it is a good buy or not. Our website as well has these information. So even if you're not a customer, but you want to go out of your way to find information, it's on our website. However, if it is that you want the information to be sent to you, it is not as detailed as the information that is emailed, then you'd have to have an account with us. We'll have an email address, we send you that information. So hopefully I have explained what a stock is, how it works, how you benefit from it, as well as why you'd want to purchase a stock. I know it's a lot of information, but if you have questions, you can always let me know.
Guys, ask questions. Ask questions. Right.
It doesn't even have to be specific to what I presented on. Maybe there's something that came to mind that you want to ask. You can go ahead.
Okay.
Someone is asking if it's a good time to start trading stocks.
Yes, it is. So the reason why it is a good time is because the market was recently on a decline. And if you were to look at the trend of the stock exchange now, it is pretty much at a place where you'd call that it bottomed out. So it was declining for a period due to the coronavirus, and it reaches a point where, okay, things have settled, investors have stopped panicking, and now with so much time passing, or so much time that has passed, investors are now regaining confidence, and they are taking their time to come back to the market. So it has settled now. There's always the possibility of the stock price being lower than what it is now, but you have to look at the information that is available. The trend is showing that it has bottomed out. It is showing that it has lower prices for stocks that you would normally want in a portfolio, that you'd consider too expensive. So now would be a good time to purchase these stocks. The stock market has an average return of maybe 20% in recent times. So with the way the prices are now, it is looking like there's going to be a good comeback when it is that the stock market starts to uptick again.
Okay, I hope that answered your question, Leo. Then another question is the minimum amount. You said it was $300, and someone wants to know if it's 300 US.
All right, so the minimum amount there spoke to a single trade. It didn't speak to how much you need to enter to the stock market. So if it is that you want to do a trade and you want to make sure that it is price efficient, because wherever you go and you open a stock brokerage account, there's going to be a commission fee or a JCSD fee that you'd have to pay. So it's kind of like an economic value minimum that you should be looking at when you're buying into stocks, if you understand what I mean. So you can always go to the market and buy one single stock, and there's stocks on the market that are for a few cents. So it's just to find that economic point where, okay, this is a good amount. If it is that I'm looking to do the bare minimum, I should be looking to do at least $300 Jamaican dollars.
Okay, that's great. The next question is, what are some of the best stocks on the market over the years?
All right. So it is pretty, what should I say? What is best is relative. It's relative to your portfolio. It is relative to what it is that you're looking for. I might say one of the best stock of last year would have been maybe, was it last year or the year before? Maybe a Fontana, when I bought Fontana and it gave me 300% return from the IPO. A good stock for somebody else to be considered one of those defensive or blue chip stocks like a Grace Kennedy, because they tend to hold their prices. So a good stock is relative to what it is that you're looking for in your portfolio. For now, if it is that you're looking for a stock to add to your portfolio, and let's say you're just starting, then there are a few growth stocks that I would personally recommend. And to list those, just in case that is what you want, Wigton is one of them. JP, Jamaica Producers, that's one of them as well. I have been recently looking at, I think it's MPC. That's one of them that I've been looking at as well. There's not a lot of movement within the stock, but it's just based on the type of company that it is that I think is good for any portfolio now. What other stock? I believe Grace is always a good stock as well. Grace Kennedy. It's a wonderful stock to have in a portfolio. Yeah, a lot of others, but not off the top of my head now.
Okay, I think that was a very comprehensive answer. The next question is, does VM offer similar services for persons who want to invest in the foreign exchange market?
All right, so good question. And even though I am not a part of the team that makes that decision, we do have meetings every now and then, and these things come up. So we are looking to start a portfolio as such. However, currently we do not have. And there's nothing concrete to say that we will start it. It's just that conversations have started for them to look into the possibility of developing such a portfolio.
Okay, and next question is, what can an investor do, a new investor do, to ensure that on their end, they make a well-informed investment decision aside from relying on an advisor?
Research. Even if the advisor tells you something, research. I would tell you that Wigton is a good stock, JP is a good stock, but my reasons can be different from your reasons. And maybe your objective is different from my objective. So even if somebody is considered a qualified professional, you don't just want to take a hearsay and run with it. Do your research. The information about every company that is on the Jamaica Stock Exchange is on the stock exchange's website. Their history of the price, the 52-week price movement of the stock, the financials are on there as well. If it is that the company made a decision to maybe change any director or owner of the company, the information is there, as well as these different companies, their website tend to have useful information. You can research to look at what is the perception of that company as well. So it's not just about what is on the books. Look at the perception. Look at what it is that they have been doing for the community that they are in. Just do your research on the company, get a feel of what the company is doing for yourself, just to ensure that whatever decision that you're making it a calculated or a well-informed decision.
Okay, next question is, someone wants you to explain blue chips.
Wants me to explain blue chip stocks?
Yes.
All right, no problem. So blue chip stocks, they are referred to large companies. Companies that are financially stable. Companies where their balance sheets, it looks pretty good. They've been around for a long, long time. They have a good name. Their reputation is very good. their share price for blue chip stocks tend to be steady or a sustainable growth with it. There's not a heavy fluctuation with the stock price. There are companies that you probably just by thinking of a company, you probably even think of a blue chip stock because you know about it, you've heard the parents talk about it, you've heard the parents talk about it, they've been around forever. They have been continuously increasing or expanding, increasing the type of products that they have, increasing the different industry that they span, etc. And to give an example, I don't remember if I did give an example, but like a Grace Kennedy. Grace Kennedy is one of those blue chip stocks. Everybody knows Grace Kennedy. Everybody knows, let's not say everyone, but we all know where Grace Kennedy is coming from and the industries that they span. They are, they distribute, they manufacture, they label, they have a financial arm as well. I believe it is, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's FGB, First Global Bank. That's their bank.
That's correct.
Right. They have a money services arm as well. GK Money Services, there's so much that they do. And they have a very large capital base. They are financially sound. And not every little shock that happens within the economy or within the market is going to affect their stock price because of how financially sound and diverse they are.
Okay, thank you. And I see a question here from Mark John that's asking which is the best stock at the moment. And yeah, I think you answered it before saying that it depends on what the person is looking for.
Right.
But you did give some examples like Wigton, Jamaica Producers, and Grace Kennedy. So
Right.
Mark Jordan, it really depends, but those are some examples of good stocks.
All right, so what I'm going to do, I have my information here, my email address and my telephone number. There is the stock picks document that my research team sent out recently. I believe we got one since week. I can always disseminate it to you guys. So whether you want me to give it to a single person and you distribute it, or if it's just a few persons that want it, you can send me an email and I will email it to you just so you can have the information.
Okay, and the final question is, do you have any knowledge on the New York Stock Exchange and how to trade on there?
All right. How do I stop sharing? I stop sharing this?
Bars at the top.
Okay, no. So see, I've never really used Zoom before, so. And from a video. Right, great. All right, so you're asking about information for the New York Stock Exchange. I'm not well versed on the overseas stock market. There are a few companies, like I said before, like in every market you have companies that have a strong background or a reputation that you know of. And these tend to be companies that you'd want to have in a portfolio. So in terms of in-depth knowledge of the New York Stock Exchange, I do not. Us offering a platform where you can trade on the New York Stock Exchange, we are currently in the development stage. It is there for you to, if it is that you want access or you have a stock that you want to buy, we can procure it for you. So yes, we do have access, but in terms of how we buy and sell stocks, buy and sell stocks like we would with the Jamaica Stock Exchange, we don't have that facility, that technology just as yet. Us being VMWealth, we don't have that platform as yet. We're in the development stages, but we can procure these stocks for you and they will be bought for your purpose, whatever it is that you need it for, or whatever stocks it is that you need. Our research team is branching out into doing research on these overseas stocks. So as we get into this part of the market, we are also expanding our knowledge of the overseas stock market as well. So I hope that answers your question. So yes, if it is that you have a stock on the New York Stock Exchange that you want to buy, or the overseas stock market that you want to buy, yes, we can procure it for you. And it tends to be a bit more expensive because it is not a direct platform that we have. So in terms of purchasing these shares in an economical manner, it may take more than you would with the Jamaica's stock exchange.
All right. I think that was it. Mm,
Yeah, that was
I
all the
think
questions.
there was one more
Okay.
question. Someone was asking about if there are any real estate trust in Jamaica.
Oh
I
yes,
don't know.
yes.
If there are any real
Real estate trusts.
trust,
Yeah.
clarify a bit for me. What do you mean?
So the person who asked that, could you like clarify?
All right. So in the meantime,
Monique.
is sorry.
The person Monique.
Yeah, Monique Buchanan.
Does Jamaica have real
Oh,
estate?
probably like a group funding. I saw that just now.
Yeah.
All right. So we have unit trust accounts. VMWealth has unit trust accounts, and they are invested into different securities. One of them being real estate. So if it is that you want access to returns that comes from the real estate market, yes, we do have a unit trust fund that is invested in the real estate market. So this product is called the VMWealth Classic Property Portfolio. And the portfolio is treated as an entity itself. And it is able to purchase securities on its own, separate and apart from the securities being owned by VMware. So Victoria Mutual Wealth Management Classic Property Portfolio owns the building. And it currently owns a few buildings within the New Kingston and the Montego Bay area. So if you know where the VMwealth or the VMBS building is in New Kingston, it owns that building. There's a parking lot behind the building as well. It owns that building. It owns the VMBS building in Montego Bay. It owns a plaza. I cannot recall where the plaza is, but it's within the New Kingston area. And it is in the process of purchasing into commercial real estate. So it is currently in a period where it's seeking funding or accumulating funding so it can expand from solely commercial real estate to residential real estate. That fund currently has a growth rate of about 14%. And if you are familiar with or somewhat familiar with real estate in Jamaica, you'd realize that property values, they tend to go up. Always within the Jamaican market, property value tends to go up, and this is very good, especially if it is that you're invested into a fund that is invested into real estate. And once you have increase in property value, once you have tenants that are paying your rent, once you have full capacity of the different buildings or different places you have to rent, then you have rental income that is coming in. You have increase in property valuation, which is an increase in the assets, the overall assets that you have, as well as there's a stock portion to that portfolio as well that is linked with real estate stocks that have links with real estate. So like a Caprit, a Kingston property stock, or sorry, a Stanley Motor stock, a 138 student living, and I believe that is a part of the student living building on the UWI campus, I believe so. So it earns rental income from a lot of these places.
Okay, nice. Okay, lovely. What about surgical excellence?
We are not invested in surgical excellence.
Okay. All right.
So tell you something about the stock just the same.
Okay, so I think that was it for you, Mr. Broderick. I want to thank you very much for coming out. A whole lot of persons were new to the whole investing in the stock market arena, and I think they've learned a whole lot from you. And we're really appreciative of you taking your time, come out here and see Leo said. I'm sure Jamila learned a lot. So thank you very much. Um, yeah, so I think I'd get over to Tammy now so that we could probably wrap up.
Yes, so thanks again, Mr. Broderick, and I'm going to share your contact info with the members so that they can contact you if they have any more questions or they want to start a portfolio with VMWealth.
No problem. Thanks. And I do appreciate the opportunity to come and speak with you, young investors. It was a pleasure and nice meeting you all.
Yes, nice meeting you as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, so thanks for coming out to the meeting today. I'm sure you guys learned a lot. I definitely learned a lot. And next week, we'll be having a panel and we'll be talking about
We'll be talking about the stock competition.
stock game versus livestock market, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll have a panel that will be talking about stock game versus livestock market. So you guys come out to the meeting next week and thank you so much for logging on. See you guys next week. Bye.
Bye, guys.